My father body shamed me and made me cry in front of our entire family, so I gave him a brutal reality check and told him I never wanted to see him again, plus all 3 updates. My father has always joked about my body. Despite the fact I am 110 pounds at 5'3" and he is 240 pounds at 5'5", he thinks it's funny to put me down about my weight. When I first introduced my boyfriend to him, he said aloud he's surprised anyone would date me. The worst part is he knows how much it has affected me in the past. When I was a senior in high school, I confided in my school's counselor about it, but she laughed in my face. She said I was delusional, and if I have self-image issues, I need to be put in a ward. This brings us to yesterday. I visited my parents' house for an extended family gathering, and very quickly my father began making fun of me. Look at how her thighs jiggle. Look at her stomach folds when she's sitting. I was on the verge of tears already, but he made one more remark that completely sent me over. How do you even have a boyfriend? Is he into whales or something? I mean, can he even find the hole? At that moment, I lost it. I stood up and through tears started screaming. Fuck you. You weigh more than twice what I do. Your gut rests on your thighs and you're insulting me? What kind of a dad are you? I hate you. He looked around stunned with his mouth agape, then finally responded with, excuse me, I am your father. You will respect me. If not for me, you wouldn't be alive right now. I was crying by this point and asked him what he gets out of humiliating his own daughter in front of people. Instead of taking any form of accountability, he just brushed me off. He told me he was only joking and I need to stop being so serious, that I can't help my body turned out the way it did. He then once again told me to stop being dramatic and accept that it's a joke. I ended up leaving the house right away. I drove home with tears streaming down my face. By the time I got back to the apartment, my boyfriend could tell right away that something was wrong. He asked me what happened, and I just broke down. I told him everything. How my father had humiliated me in front of the whole family, how he kept making fun of my weight, and how he said that disgusting thing about him being into whales. My boyfriend's face turned red with anger as I kept talking, and I could see his fists clenching. I've never seen him so furious. He hugged me tightly and told me over and over again that I didn't deserve any of that my dad was completely out of line, and that I was perfect just the way I was. It felt good to be held, but the pain of what happened still stung. He pulled back and looked me in the eyes. I can't believe he'd say that to you. How could he be so cruel? You're beautiful, and you deserve so much better than this. I could tell he was barely keeping it together. I want to talk to him. He can't keep treating you like this. I shook my head, wiping away my tears. No, please don't. It'll only make things worse. He won't listen to you, and I don't want to create more drama. I just want to forget about it for a while. Please. He sighed, but he nodded. All right, if that's what you want. But promise me, if he ever says anything like that again, you'll tell me right away. I can't stand the thought of him hurting you like this. I nodded and hugged him again. I'm just so lost right now. I don't know what to do. Update 1. I sat my father down as per my boyfriend's request and tried to speak to him again. It ended up being the same as the previous times. My partner's father has heard of what's been happening but never witnessed it until yesterday. My parents came over to visit again with no knowledge that my partner's parents were there. It was only a visit for planning my 21st birthday. My dad didn't seem to care that there was a new member to the audience and started his joking around. I was wearing a pair of tights, which some of you know as leggings, as my sweats were dirty. I rarely wear tight clothes as it gives my father more fuel to his insults. I was making coffee and he shouted, "Why are your thighs jiggling like that? Do you actually train?" My mother laughed like it was the funniest thing ever, and I heard a smack and my dad yelping straight after. That's a common thing between my parents, but it usually only happens in front of others. My future in-laws didn't say anything, but I could see they were confused and annoyed. After the next couple of pinches and comments, my partner's dad lost it. He started berating my dad and told him that he's a pathetic excuse for a father. Told him that for all these years he had to ensure I was okay because he didn't have a clue to raising a child. How sick he was for even thinking it's okay to treat a daughter like that. He made sure to tell him how he has damaged me mentally to the point of just accepting it. How many times his son had to hold me until I cried myself to sleep over one of his jokes. That went on for what seemed like forever, and my partner soon joined in. It ended up being turned to my mother, who tried to switch sides again. My partner's mother is a good woman, but she has a nasty side and she wasn't afraid to show it. She is one woman you don't want to upset. She ended up saying that they either apologize and get the F out or they no longer have a daughter. They apologized, but my dad still couldn't see why it's so wrong to joke. It's what fathers do, apparently. I was crying during the extent of it and still am. Not about the fight, but the fact that I know just how pointless it was. I was right as he came back today and gave me a bag with holes cut into it. I got your birthday outfit. You won't actually fit into a dress. So I got this bin bag for you. I even made the holes bigger for your arms and thighs too. Make sure to wear a belt. I just froze in place and could only focus on his smirk. I was still standing there, bag in hand, as he drove away. Later on today, I got a message from him related to my writing and art that he found. He started mocking that too. He commented on how I wish I could be as perfect as the characters I come up with. I use writing drawing as a way to cope, and he is right. I do wish I could be that perfect, that confident. Normal, but I'm not. I'm a screw up. He made that clear. He made sure to let me know that I will never be as good, that I don't don't have the gene that's been passed down through generations. Update 2. I made my dad a gift basket with a note since he loves to read what I write so much and won't bother listening in person. This is what I wrote to him. Dear Dad, since you like my writing so much, I decided to take the time and spell this out for you. This basket contains many options to help you. I've noticed your body has lost its good shape and is honestly just not pleasing to look at. So I have included many workout pamphlets and personal trainer contacts to help you with that. One in particular will surely help you with that stomach of yours. I can only imagine your frustration having a daughter that is fitter than her father. Since you clearly love taking your frustrations out on me, I highly recommend reading through the therapist contacts I have included in this basket. I will advise you to let mom seek out these therapists too, as her backbone is non-existent and she lets awful men walk all over her. Fun fact, 110 pounds for a woman that is 5'3" is healthy, if not bordering on being underweight. However, 240 pounds for a man in his 50s and is just scraping 5'5" is concerningly overweight. I would suggest taking care of that. I would hate for someone to start mocking you about it. It is very unpleasant. Now, all pleasantries aside, this will be the last time you hear from me. This will be the last time I call you mom and dad. Since I have all of my documents, I no longer need to converse with you. Your names have been taken off the guest list for my 21st that you so graciously refused to help pay for. If you do show up, I will have police escort you off the premises. If you show up at my new house or merely follow me to the store, it will result in the police being called. If you continue this behavior, I will file a restraining order against both of you. If you would like a reason for this, you will have to find it yourself. It is quite obvious, but since you are so focused on damaging me into submission, I fear you will never understand. That is not my problem. Yes, you did bring me into this world, but you are not my parents. I have a family, and you will never be a part of it. Please do take my advice and seek help. This is not a joke, Dad. Yours truly. I know that the note was rushed and short, but it was all I was capable of writing. My aunt's phone has been blowing up, but she has ignored and blocked their numbers. She has even made sure to let the rest of our family know what has happened and why. As far as I know, they have been getting berated and disowned. I can't help but feel a little bit of pride. Update 3. After sending the letter, I felt a mix of relief and anxiety. Part of me was proud for finally standing up to them, but another part was scared of what they might do next. A few days went by with silence from their end, and I thought maybe they'd finally gotten the message. Well, the day of my 21st birthday party came around, and I was trying to focus on having a good time. I was surrounded by my friends, my boyfriend and his family, who have been nothing but supportive. We rented a small hall, and everyone was laughing, eating, and dancing. I was starting to feel like maybe I could have a good time without interruptions, but just as we were getting ready to cut the cake, I noticed my boyfriend's mom whispering something to him and nodding toward the entrance. I followed her gaze and my stomach dropped. There they were, my parents, standing right at the doorway like they had every right to be there. My dad had this look on his face like he was trying to appear calm and friendly, but I could see right through it. My mom was holding onto his arm, looking nervous and unsure. I felt my hands start to shake, and I quickly looked away, hoping they wouldn't come in and ruin everything. Before I could react, my boyfriend walked over to them with a stern expression. I couldn't hear what he was saying, but he was shaking his head and pointing toward the exit. My dad started to argue back, his voice raising. I saw a few of my friends exchange worried looks, and my aunt, who had been sitting with her husband, got up and made her way over to them. The next few moments felt like a blur. My dad started yelling about how they were my parents and had every right to be there. My boyfriend's dad quickly stepped in, trying to defuse the situation, but my dad just kept getting louder, insisting that they had come to apologize and that I was being ungrateful. By this point, everyone at the party was watching, and I felt like I was going to be sick. I saw my boyfriend's mom pull out her phone, and within minutes, 2 security guards walked into the hall. They must have been nearby because they arrived so fast. One of them approached my dad, trying to calm him down and explain that he was causing a disturbance and had to leave. My dad, of course, wouldn't have any of it and started ranting about how they had no right to remove him from his own daughter's birthday party. The security remained calm and repeated that if he didn't leave voluntarily, they would have to escort him out. My mom, who had been quiet the whole time, suddenly started crying, begging them to let them stay, saying they just wanted to talk to me and make things right, but it was too late for that. The damage had been done. The security gave them one last warning, and when my dad still refused to leave, they took him by the arm and led him out of the hall. I could feel everyone's eyes on me, and I just wanted to disappear. I could see the pity in some of their faces, and that made it even worse. My boyfriend came back over to me, wrapping his arms around me and whispering that it was going to be okay, that I didn't have to worry about them anymore. But the night was already ruined. I tried to smile and enjoy the rest of the party, but it was hard to shake the feeling of embarrassment and anger. The next day, I was home alone when I heard a knock at the door. I peeked through the peephole and saw my parents standing outside. I really didn't want to deal with them, but I knew they weren't going to go away. I opened the door just a crack, enough to let them know I was there, but not enough for them to come inside. "What do you want?" I asked. "We just want to talk," my dad said. "We're sorry," my mom added, looking at the ground. "We didn't mean to cause a scene. We just wanted to apologize and see you." I shook my head. "It's too late for that. that. You can't just show up whenever you want and expect everything to be okay. Please, honey, my dad said, his tone that of a scolding parent. We're your family. You can't just shut us out like this. I felt a surge of anger rise up in me. I can and I will. You made your choices, and now you have to live with the consequences. I'm done letting you hurt me. My boyfriend, who had been in the other room, must have heard the commotion because he came out and stood beside me. She's told you to leave. You need to go now. My dad looked like he was about to argue, but my mom tugged on his arm, pleading with her eyes. They both turned and walked away, my dad muttering something under his breath as they left. As soon as the door closed, I burst into tears. My boyfriend pulled me into a tight hug, whispering that I did the right thing, that I was strong for standing up for myself. And even though it hurt, I knew he was right. I was done letting them control my life, and I wasn't going to let them drag me back down again.